it might seem funny, that's how he got the name they call Fresh Money. Fresh Money, it's on the square. Fresh Money.
Yeah, I like that.
I knew if you heard it, you'd like it.
Do or dare.
Oh, yeah.
Fresh Money, it's all right here.
Yeah. Welcoming you into the show, and the music you've got in the background is hot. It's a chili pepper. Called In the Same Place. We got wonderful guests in the studio and a good conversation. Yeah, just check this out and spice up your morning.
Spicy.
Chili pepper, chili pepper, chili pepper, chili pepper, chili pepper, chili. Chili pepper, chili pepper, chili.
Every day.
Chili pepper, chili pepper, chili.
All night long.
Your mouth is on fire, your temperature rises higher.
This is Eric. That's how we do that term. That's right. But listen, we're so creative, we got scared of ourselves. Scare ourselves with so creative and innovative. It would be illegal if we weren't black. And you know there's something on there. I'm looking at this channel. Smithsonian channel. On there they have something called American Culture. And they went back, they got films of the actual film of the Black Wall Street in Oklahoma. Actual color film, and actually have film of them once they ripped the place up and burned it all down. It's called the Smithsonian. I was looking at it, I was like, what's this? I clicked on it, and it started in the 1920s. And they started showing how, you know, the race relationship and how the Ku Klux Klan marched on Washington in color. Oh, it's great. Smithsonian channel. Yeah, pretty good. I've never seen it before.
I didn't know that was from
I did not know it.
How is the
cuisine with a chili pepper treat. It will make you happy like
So it's not in his face, it's
and put you in the loop for the chili pepper soup.
Chili pepper. Chili pepper, chili pepper, Eric. Chili pepper, chili pepper, chili. Chili pepper, chili pepper, chili. Chili pepper, chili pepper, chili. Chili pepper, chili pepper, chili.
You got it.
Chili pepper, chili pepper, chili.
Number 4. Just in case you get the inspiration.
Oh, yeah. I want to mess with Eric's interview. I'll be talking a lot of crap, Eric. You don't want to deal with that. Your interview.
Oh, I love that piano.
So you like chili peppers, huh?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
One of my favorite all-time educators, intellects, good guys, and innovators, Eric Frazier. You know, this is what divine educators do with the rest of their lives. You know what I mean? It's just they're multi-dimensional, and Eric Frazier has just layers and layers. It's absolutely incredible, and has been doing the Fort Greene Park Jazz Festival since 1996.
Since 2010.
Since 2010. Okay.
This is our 8th year.
Okay. So what were you saying? Started in 1996? Your musical career?
Yes.
Oh my God! How did that ever happen?
Well, it's a story. I was doing a number of different things. I was writing books and I was doing music, but I never mentioned it to anybody. And then I got ill. I had a laminectomy, which is a back surgery, and then they discovered the beginning of cancer. And so I ended up in the hospital for a good while, and it took me about a year and a half to learn how to walk again and all of that. And the cancer was in remission. I recovered from that and so forth. And my theme then was no more sleeping giant.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
right. No more hiding the divine light under the bushel.
Yeah. So before that, my thing was when I got up every morning, I said, it's a brand new day, let's kick ass and take names. And that was my, you know how everybody makes a New Year's resolution?
Mm-hmm.
That was my New Year's resolution for about 5 or 6 years. And that's what I said every morning. And then once I got sick, and it was a new one, you know, and then I wrote a couple books. And,
What were your books?
Thought of a Black Child, which
Okay.
won an award for the Black Expo there during that time. That was in the 70s.
What was the thesis of your Thought of a Black Child?
It was children's poetry.
Oh.
Yeah, and we submitted it for some stuff in we won some awards.
Mm-hmm.
And then we won Black Gold and You.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a poem. This was a book of poems, which Frankie Crocker used to say every night on the air before he went off.
Which poem was that?
It was called "Dear Black Woman." You're the pure black beauty that poetry lit, that stars and waters and universes knew, where peace and love and freedom flew, and God knows, black men will die for you. Our sister, my woman complete, love is love, the only real tree. My sister, I saw you, living behind Prempeh and Shaka and Lomature and Vizzy and Malcolm and Bobby, and now the one behind me. Dear woman, if I should die before I would, I couldn't allow myself to take to you. I love you. And,
Well, I have to give you a round of applause for that. You know, we love Frankie Crocker too. Wasn't that beautiful, Doug? That's
Yes, it
just so,
was.
that's magnificent.
Fabulous.
And Frankie picked it up and he would recite
every
that.
night before he went off the air for 1 year, he did that.
Oh,
He
my
was something else. Frankie
was.
Crocker. That's the name.
Yeah.
He talk bring up. You know?
yes, indeed. I mean, I listened to him religiously and loved his tone and never estimated how much it may have influenced
Isn't that
some of
something?
my, guided visualizations and vocalizing of peace.
Absolutely.
Yeah, never. So now I get to, give thanks to the ancestor, Frankie Crocker.
Absolutely.
Wow.
yes.
That's just absolutely marvelous. There's always gems to explore whenever you come to visit.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate it so much. I mean, just, when I think of taking the helm of a school and shepherding it, navigating it through the terrain, the waters that we have to go through in order to become accomplished, in order to, rise to our full potential, that's very high on my list.
And it's a funny thing because that's the job. It's allowing the students, the kids, the parents, the community, and the neighborhood to reach its potential. And being the leader in education in that area, community, that's the job.
That's the job.
So therefore, it enables you, it gives you the auspices to help teachers self-actualize
Yes.
so that they can give what they need to give to the kids.
Yes.
I remember when I first went into teaching, I said, hey, wait a minute, man. I got to grow up. I can't be like the way I am. I got to be more mature. I got to teach these kids. And
Right.
that impacted me for the rest of my career.
Oh my God.
Beautiful.
And so this is the thing that you want to have happen in the school. So all the behavior you have to have, the actions you have to model, the motivation, the inspiration you have to give to everyone, and the study that you have to have so that you can help people initiate activities that go along with the goals and objectives of the school and what you need to do to help build and grow kids and adults. It's a great responsibility that I really and totally loved. So my career, 33 years, went by like that.
Wow.
Because it was
33.
So wonderful every day.
That's just marvelous. It really is. And Doug Frazier is sitting here, our great chief engineer and co-founder of the Digital Divide Partnership.
That's
the
another
DDP.
Frazier right there.
And the gentleman who was executive director who helped me to rise into media, Cliff Frazier. Okay,
Oh, yes.
so there's another one. Can you hear that? Hold on. Yeah, well you're on. That means that you're on. Definitely, your mic is. That one's cool or cold. That one's hot. Oh, okay. And your earphones are not. Okay, let's see if we can get you up to speed a little. How are your earphones? Okay.
Very nice.
Okay, very good.
My mic sounds good.
Okay, good. There
So
you
this
go.
is a Frazier happening. You have
This is-
wall-to-wall Frazier.
This is a God
We
thing.
give you Frazier.
Yeah, thank you.
When you say, what do I need today? Frazier. And that's all you're going to get. Frazier. Say the whole name. Say the whole name.
It's the Frazier thing.
It's a Frazier
It is
thing.
a Frazier thing.
There's a place in South Carolina called the Frazier Hill.
Is there really?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
My
okay.
father told me about this,
Okay.
and I believe it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And your folks, Eric
From
Frazier,
South Carolina.
as well. So look at that. There's a commonality. But
Fraziers have to stick together.
But when you struck that very deep and emotional chord with regards to our intentions towards our community and children, I saw out the corner of my eye Doug's head go, whoop. He was just, it was touching, wasn't it? Question, because
Wow.
that changes
Scary.
the entire landscape as it pertains to how we dive into education, how we access education. We have 24/7 access to education, to knowledge.
Correct.
And with that difference, for me personally, I'm so happy we can explore anything and everything, and from the highest points of thought to, whatever depths we want to plumb. But how does that change for educators? How does that paradigm shift? In terms of, what we're dealing with today, what we have access to today in our pockets in those machines, versus, the 33 years that you were in the institution, behind the walls of the institution. How's the change?
Well, I think it breaks down to motivating, inspiring, guiding kids, students, people's friends, neighbors, family, to have a focus and objective and perspective on life that allows them to proliferate in terms of health, in terms of their cognitive abilities. It enables them to explore and to put the bug. It enables to put the bug in them so that it's there. Once it's there all their lives. And that's where we feel right now in education, because we don't have people in that are motivators. You had.
Yeah.
I always say my career went by so fast because so much stuff was going on that was good. You had kids that would follow you to the end of the earth because they were motivated, they were inspired. And how was it they were inspired? Because, as Brother Doug Frazier was saying earlier, you were able to incorporate their world into the world. And they felt a part, and they felt like they could self-actualize from the adult point of view. They felt like they belonged, as opposed to now the separation and them having their own language and their own way. These things started. So many different things impacted on this. The music did, of course. I mean, years ago we had people going to dance halls and 10,000 people, 7,000 people, and then people wanted to make money, and they started recording all of the music and putting it on radio. Then those same people, as years went on, they began listening to it on the radio, sitting down and listening to it. Less people were dancing. The dance hall and all those things closed.
Yes.
Now, the young people weren't going for that. So they said, hey, man, we got to keep dancing. So rock and roll came along. And now they were dancing, and the old people were, hey, what are they doing? So there's a number of factors that go along with, I would say, I don't want to say subjugating, but separating the generations. And a lot has to do with motive. See, educators, I don't go along with, first of all, the way educators are taught. Okay? 4 years of college, no good. You're going to give them, you can give them the liberal arts so that they have a well-rounded, balanced way of perspective and way of looking at life, that's fine. After those 2 years, they want to teach first to find out if they're interested in kids. If they are, then you put them in the schools, let them teach, but now you have people that give them counseling, you have people that show them how to teach, to deliver instruction, you have people that show them how to manicure their ability to motivate and inspire kids, because that's all you have to do, is you put the bug in them, they will do anything, they'll learn anything, do anything. And so this is what we for. Even in the lesson plan. The lesson plan is one of the objects in education that is where you can sort of quantify the inputs of education, just like you do in business. What are the inputs that would help us get certain outcomes?
Outcomes, yeah.
So therefore, in a lesson plan, you have the objective of that day's learning. Then the next thing is the motivation. What are you going to use to motivate the kids in this sequence of lessons? There has to be a motivation for every lesson. That's how teachers were taught. I don't know what they're taught now because they go in there and the kids are bored. Just about half the kids are leaving school. Those kids that graduate, that's only like 40-45% of people who entered the high school.
Oh, that's a disaster.
So this drag in terms of how the people are taught and what they're able to give the kids. Oh man, if, I don't know if I was a kid, I know I would be different, but you can't expect kids. Why would they come to school? It's boring. You got to make it live. And this is how we have to live our lives. As a matter of fact, one of my tunes on this recording in the same place, it talks about making it live, just getting inside yourself on how you're going to live, okay? Are you just going to roll around and hang around and just be like a flower on the wall? Are you going to make something of your life? Are you going to inspire somebody, help somebody?
You certainly inspired them, because I listened to those 2 songs you just made. You figured out the key to everything. You give them chili pepper and fresh money. And I'm just saying, if you ain't getting moving with the chili pepper, if that don't get you up and moving, and that fresh money thing, oh my goodness.
It was wonderful.
I was hot.
First of all,
I see how you did it.
First of all, it's fresh.
I was hot.
Then it is
fresh money, because we all need fresh money.
And then it's money, and everybody is being directed to this issue of money. The kids are being fed many messages.
Not fresh money though. They ain't being fed the fresh money messages. I think you're onto something, Eric.
He is.
They not, because they're so busy trying to dig into the money where people don't need them, which is one of my pet peeves. They have us running after things and trying to get involved in things where we're not needed. But when you're dealing with fresh money, that's new. You go with stuff with people who need you, who want you, who want to be around you. You're not going to go and be with a person who don't want to be with you. Well, you will, but after a while, you'll get the message. But, fresh money.
Those are
I'm just saying, what a great
aspects.
concept.
It is. It's a wonderful concept,
Sorry.
and the chili pepper is too. And the
Keep
next
it
song
moving.
that we're going to play is pertaining to just exactly what you were describing a moment ago. But it just dawned on me because I'm trying to figure this out. I see the machines in front of the children's faces. Okay?
Not just
I'm
this.
sorry. Everybody's
Thank
face.
you.
Everybody's in front of the face
Thank
of the
you.
machine.
Thank you.
And they're in it. But our kids are being programmed in specific ways. So when I see the kids, and I'm an empath. Okay, I'm intuitive, so
Wow.
I feel all the stuff.
Wow.
I feel it coming at me, you know what I mean? I feel it in the air, all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I look at the kids, and I feel what's coming at me from the kids. Don't even know, complete stranger just passing by, as well as family members. And there's a certain level of hostility and disdain. And I'm quite sure that it's being programmed into them in many of the things that they're in the Snapchat and the Instagram and the ads and the conversations that they're deriving from a lot of the lyrics that they're listening to. Okay? So these things are helping to, again, alienate the kids from us, direct them towards crass materialism, you know what I mean? Dirty money, if you will.
He hit it on the head. The reason why I think they're alienated towards us is because we don't have enough fresh money for them.
That's exactly.
You need fresh money, you know, and I mean, I've never even met the guy before, but that struck a chord with me because we are economically stifled. And actually, have you ever seen The Truman Show? The movie The Truman? We are in the economic version of The Truman Show. The people who are the 20% and the 1% people, they're on the outside of The Truman Show, and all the rest of us are on the inside. We're never getting out. We're never getting out, ever, because they don't need us. And if you don't start understanding the concept of fresh money, and put a little chili pepper in it so you get up, because the chili pepper gets you going.
That's right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you on something. You gotta get it going.
Definitely.
You need fresh money, and that's what we need to be giving
Eric
to our
Frazier
youngins.
gave us the formula.
That's what we gotta give to our youngins. Fresh money.
Motivation. That's right. You know what I'm saying? And really just giving them within the lesson plan you described that motivational factor that gets them excited, that will allow them, that will create a bond to have them follow you anywhere in the world, throughout any of the universes. They will follow you. They will learn from you.
I used to work with we were kids, we used to work with a guy. He had us put posters up and down 8th Avenue. This is when they used to have the Polo Grounds. Before the Polo Grounds project, the actual baseball stadium. I'm telling my age. And we would go out, he would get us on Saturdays and Sundays, and we would go and put the posters in. But here's the thing about fresh money. At the end of the day, he would go like this. Okay. He'd get everybody standing around. He'd go in his pocket and take out a big wad of money, and he'd give everybody their cut. And he said, now, y'all got your money. Y'all go do your thing, and I'm going to go do my thing. Fresh money. And anytime that dude would call us, we would show up, because he would pay us right after it's done. Fresh money. Like, I noticed that whenever, like, you have to figure out how do you learn. So whenever something's really difficult, you will, the way you learn is really interesting, because when something's difficult, you will actually pay way more attention to difficult things than you will to simple things. Simple things, you just let them go by. But when something is really hard, you'll actually learn something. You don't learn anything unless it's difficult. Because then when it's difficult, you have to really go, okay, I gotta concentrate, and I gotta figure out. And when I heard him saying the lyrics over and over and over again, so people would understand, because they could mean anything.
Yes.
But everybody know what a chili pepper is.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's a hot thing.
Yeah, yes, it is. But I mean, you're not gonna touch or mess with a chili pepper and then sit down and do nothing. You ain't gonna jive around with a chili pepper and do nothing. See what I'm saying? So here's a guy that's motivating kids, and of course I told you my son and his wife are both school teachers.
Both of them.
Yeah, and I live with them, so they're I'm always walking around watching them doing their school teacher crap, and I noticed that whenever there's a problem, they use their school teacher ingenuity to figure out. And then I realized that they are really in the learning business. The teachers are not in the teaching business. Teachers are in the learning business, because they can learn anything. A teacher will learn any damn, and they're so good that they'll learn something, then they'll teach us silly behind.
That's right.
Which I can't do.
Right.
See, I see the difference between, I can learn stuff,
but
I don't have no patience.
Yeah,
to teach.
yes, necessarily. I thought I had the patience
No,
for it, but I don't have the patience for it either. But I do it in my own way through a different modality.
But you ain't no teacher.
I'm a teacher.
Like him, I'm saying. Like him.
No. What I'm saying is that you have identified what it is that I heard in Eric's conversation, and that was that the new modality is the business of learning. It is so we can take it and all the resources we have in the machine, which is 24/7, limitless, boundless access to knowledge. And if we are in the learning business entrepreneurially, then there is a possibility that you create the fresh money, the ability to thrive and succeed, to lead, and to give a way to our people to rise and succeed.
Well, you can't see the funny thing is that the first thing about learning is that you have to be really honest. See, that's the funny thing about teaching, even though I'm not a teacher, and kids, as you can see it when he was talking.
Based on your observation.
Yeah, observation, and you can see that just from the way he was talking about it. You could see it was something that resonated within him. The funny thing about them is that with kids and when you're teaching them that you automatically go, I don't know. And that's, in this culture and in this society, it's hard for people to say, I don't know that.
Right.
They don't want to admit that. Just like we have a guy who don't want to admit that he's wrong, which is ludicrous. But this is what you have. So you're not going to get anywhere or have any growth if you can't admit that you're wrong, if you can't see this real circumstance that you're in, and give the people credit who are whipping you.
Yeah.
Give them credit.
Right.
You know, instead of going, oh, they're doing things to me. No, give them credit because they're whipping you, and then figure out, then you try to use the chili pepper and the fresh money technique to figure out what you're going to do about it.
Right.
What you're going to do.
And you know, what I want to say also about teaching is that the teacher, good teacher, makes things simple. Or anything that's difficult, they bring it out and make it simple and make it easy to learn.
Yes.
So if you
I have the highest regard for that. Yes.
and that's a skill, but also it involves cognitive ability.
That's a gift.
It involves intelligence.
That's a gift.
Because when someone goes for their doctorate, they are doing deductive and inductive logic in the way they expound and deal with people, so that they can take something that's very difficult and break it down and make it simple, and also take something that's very simple and dissect it into to show all the different relationships, lateral relationships and up and down relationships. And it really goes into a situation, there's a lot of it that goes into it, but it in the classroom, it boils down to actually the learning is not really coming from the teacher. The learning is coming from the other kids.
Oh, absolutely.
And the teacher is guiding the learning
That's
by
right.
inducing the kids to speak and expound on their thoughts and ideas, and to having the students to interact with each other by questioning each other, getting answers, comparing thoughts, and man, that's what you got to do right there.
You know, there was
Beautiful.
I used to work at a group home, and I used to run a group home, and the guy that ran the group home had this really crazy idea about how to control everything. And he sent us to this place in Pittsburgh where they gave us this training that the Army used during World War II to get all of these soldiers and people to go fight in the war and die or whatever. And so they had a whole bunch of people all of a sudden that they had to take and to go over there and have the war, and they all had to be organized and teamwork. And they had this training called guided group interaction, where you would psychologically profile the group. And in every group, there are certain elements of every group's behaviors of every group. And they taught you how to identify the behaviors, how to identify the certain types of people, and then you do what the teacher just, excuse me, you do what the professor just said.
Yes, thank you.
At the elevator. Yeah, the professor just said, and you would then look for the leaders, and when you want to get things across, you would use the various psychological makeup of the group to guide them to whatever it is that you need to do. In the case of the Army was, we're going to go over here and kill people. In the case of the teacher, we're going to figure out how to get all you guys to figure out what 2 + 2 is.
And in the case of the entrepreneur, you can use the same identifications and motivations to guide people to create fresh money.
Yeah, and it comes from that. It comes from the philosophy of sensitivity group instruction.
Yes.
Which I was one of the early people to begin doing it.
Wow.
And
How did you come into the knowledge of the sensitivity group?
Induction.
At the university. I was one of the people, as a matter of fact, at Southern Illinois University, when I went to school, I was the first person in African Studies to come out of that school. And also, part of the training was sensitivity group instruction,
Yes.
where you got not a degree, but a certificate for it. And it caused you to me, okay, I'm going to say people are like instruments.
Sure.
You or like music. You listen to them, and they tell you what it is. They tell you what it is. They give you the mood, they give you the thoughts, they give you the ideas. And so, but it's really paying attention. That's what it really is. It's paying attention. And if you have, some people bring resources to the table, limited or unlimited resources to the table, but it's their experiences and their knowledge that help them to be able to understand, period, generally.
Sure.
Whether it be people, whether it be an environment or situation.
Sure. And accomplish specific goals.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's so deep. It's absolutely incredible. Now tell us the personnel on this song, number 10.
Okay.
And the title again.
The title of that song is called Everything You Got to Give.
Yeah.
Talking about life.
Yes. Yes. And talking about motivation, inspiration,
Yes.
and motivation, and life.
And who you have on there is you have Dwayne Cook Broadnax. You have Gene Gee. Broadnax on drums, Gene Gee on sax. You got I think it's Yoichi Uzeki on piano on that one. And let me see, you got Paul Beaudry on bass, and you have Charles Bartlett of the Bartlett Contemporaries on trumpet.
Nice.
And Pamela Cornelius on vocals.
Oh, I love her sound. I heard her at my alma mater, Wadley.
She's a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, she's absolutely a powerful lady. You know, we're talking to Eric Frazier, Professor Eric Frazier, and we're here because of the 8th annual Fort Greene Park Jazz Festival. Series 1 is starting Saturday, July 22nd of this year, 3 to 7 p.m. And Series 2 is Saturday, September 9th from 3 to 7 p.m. And all these wonderful vocals, including Mr. Rome Neal, the director, artist, is on vocals. Sivan Arbel, Stephanie Jennot, Stacy Houghton, Hanka G. My goodness gracious. And I know you're going to do some vocalizing too, Eric.
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, on this next tune, I'm doing the vocals on it as well. As a matter of fact, this is my first foray into doing a CD with just about all vocals and some spoken word and singing. I'm
very impressed. You did a cappella at the New Yorican Poets Cafe. I think it was Moondance.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just
Like
totally.
that song.
Was it Moondance?
Moody's Mood for
Was it Moody's Mood for
I think
Love?
both of them.
I can't quite recall.
But I know Moody's Mood for Love, so I sang maybe two.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I wasn't quite sure, but I will say that maybe I'm thinking about 2 different occasions as well. But a very special evening for very special people. And, I always like the opportunity to just really dive into the body of knowledge and inspiration that God has given me. Yeah, definitely. So, what you call it? Everything?
Everything you got to give.
Mr. Doug Frazier!
Hey, Mr. Eric is good.
Listen, man,
I was on my way
I'm glad
to do what I had to do that day. Everything's going on.
Thank you for
But
your
I don't have no time to play.
don't have no time to
Things
play.
that happen in our world of today.
No,
That's why I'm
you know,
focused and keeping
Diane knows
everything
I
at
have to
bay.
keep
Do
my,
what you do. To yourself, always be true. It doesn't matter
He's here
all
to
the
do a
people's
specific
chitter
job.
chatter. Go
Every
ahead,
time,
make your
you know what I
goal
mean? I can't
to all
help
your dreams
because
be
he got so
sold.
much on
There's
his
only one
mind.
life to
We
live.
gotta talk.
Give it everything.
Gotta fix this.
Is that Pam? That's you?
So let me ask you a question. So on Green Park, you gonna do this?
Yeah.
Do you is it recorded?
Yeah.
I mean video.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do that. Who does that? Yeah. Oh, so she just records it on her thing? Come on, give me a copy of it now, please. You know, we have a whole thing of the fire stick. You know what it is? Fire stick is we got one of there.
Did you say fire
Well, we the radio
I
station
was on my
the
way
fire
to
stick.
do what I had to do that day.
So you can look
Everything's
at
going
this
on,
on your
but
TV.
I don't have no time to
And we have
care.
other
So many things
programs
can
on there,
happen
so I take
in
the
our world
program,
of today. That's
it on
why
the
I'm
fire
focused
stick.
and keeping
But we have an
everything at
archive.
bay. Do what you do. To yourself, always be true. It doesn't
Yeah, it's the stuff
matter
that she's
all
doing,
the
yeah.
people's chitter chatter. Go ahead, make your goal. To all your dreams be sold. There's only one life to live.
Just
Give
send me a
it
CD,
everything.
'cause I like free stuff. I like free stuff.
And
Send me the CD, but we have a YouTube channel, but there's other stuff. But we've been streaming the station here for about 4 or 5 years. But we got a huge archive of programs on YouTube. Then I started dabbling around with the fire stick to put our own programming on the fire stick along with all the other stuff. So we have our own thing on there on the classes that we do, and we like to get you. Then I put it on there, and I'll tell you how to get it, you know. Yeah, we gotta help each other. Yeah. That's straight, you gotta stick together.
Yeah, well, I hope that you all will interact, you know, for the best of you know what I mean? Because this is really good.
Yeah, because you know we need more people who are trying to help.
Yeah.
Yesterday, they showed that the Small Business Association, you know, the administrative agency, put out a press release that they spent $93 million since 2010 with minority entrepreneurs. You know, minority women, black, and you know, but you actually.
Break it down.
When you actually look at the fresh money part of it,
Yeah.
put a little chili pepper in your step, you realize that over the same period of time, the city has spent $124 billion on everybody who's not in that one group. You know, who's not a woman, who's not black, who's not Spanish. So we're talking about small country and white guys. So when they put that out there and nobody says anything, they go, I can keep doing it. I just told those fools that I'm giving them 1/10 or 1% of the money that I'm spending because I'm a gangster and y'all in the economic Truman show and I'm a gangster. I'm taking the money out of your pocket and I'm giving it to me and my homies. And they put it out there and we just go like this. We need a job. We need income. We need no job. We need income. That's anybody that's a senior citizen. They ain't got no job. When you're a senior citizen, you don't get no job. You get income. And that's what everybody wants. That's just the whole point. Chicago guy, Mitch Chicago, who is one of the dopey white guys that go harking back to when we were all kids. When all the politicians were like that. In Kentucky, they got a rule where they want to make people work in order to get Medicare.
Wow. I'm gonna let you know that there's a couple of things I really am so thankful that came out of our great conversation today. You know, talking to Eric Frazier about the Fort Greene Park Jazz Festival, the 8th annual, coming up on Saturday, July 22nd, and Saturday, September 9th. The teamwork, classroom education, being a leader as a teacher. The real issue for me is that you got to have good leaders. You got your teamwork, it's absolutely essential. But if you got the right leaders and teachers and coaches guiding them with the highest principles, then you're going to have a whole well-rounded human being that can go into any sphere and contribute and help it to grow and nurture. Today, unfortunately, a lot of the teams are being run by people, with their values are questionable. And I'm thinking specifically about the skateboarding world. And the fact that in 2020 it's going to the Olympics. There's going to be a development of the teams and guiding forces, but there is an underclass mentality, kind of demoralized, guys who are guiding some of these kids. The kids are forming their team, and they got team loyalty and a variety of things, but some of the leaders in these groups are guiding them towards misogyny, towards hostility towards parents and adults, towards the backward idea of racism and white supremacy, on the down low. It's just a lot of crazy stuff that's going on when we're separated by the machines, and the kids are coming together without our specific guidance and moral, navigational tools.
And you know what? You know what's said about leaders and organizations? That organizations take on the characteristics of their leaders. So if you have a leader, like say you have the president that we have now you look at the whole country and you see what has characterized the country, this behavior.
Yes. An increase in violence, disrespect of people across the board, impatience, intolerance, a backwardness, just a giving in to stupidity and ignorance, ignoring facts.
How about that, Professor
Green
Frazier?
Park Jazz Festival. I'm awe-inspired. I really am.
Time to play.
So, Professor Frazier,
Yeah.
I hope that my Lennox Avenue 2 cent theorems meet some of your very minimal approval.
I think it filled in all the blanks.
Well, when you have I like something, you have a degree in psychology. Psychology is the science of common sense. So if you have a degree in psychology, you have a degree in common sense. So I try to apply my training. You know what I mean?
You made me think of my grandmother, man. She used to call me an educated jackass.
But you know me.
She said I didn't have common sense.
Well, psychology is common sense.
So Eric, this has just been, it's just amazing. The way I approach our conversations is that I always want to delve into the depths.
That's good because people don't do that. And these things, a lot of things I'm saying, I never even talk about because where's it going to go? But I know where you're coming from.
Yes.
And you do it.
What is it we need to succeed as a people, as a nation, and what is it that we need to succeed, in expressing our highest level of consciousness and good, And I know that you have some of the answers. I know that you've done some implementation in your career with different programs, different, papers that you've developed into projects. So it's always a pleasure to talk.